and welcome to the Stellar Devils preview show. Myself, Graham Munsey, joined by Dave Harley and special guest Colin Frame from that title Stellar, the title sponsor of the Stellar Devils, as we look ahead to a big match as the Leicester National Development League team head for Armadale on Friday. Colin, thank you very much for joining us, and you must be looking forward to seeing another big Devils match this week.
It's a pleasure to be here. I am actually looking forward to Friday again. Obviously, the season's coming closer to the end every week we get there. And being back at Armadale last week with the Devils was a privilege. Didn't think it was going to last the whole meeting, but we got through it. And hoping that we can stick out with the weather for this week.
What is it they say about the kids and the youths, that they carry on regardless? You know, there was never even a hesitation. That was a remarkable thing about last week. And it's great to see them on track and obviously getting the Devils back this season, and Stellar's a big part of getting the Devils up and running.
Aye, so we obviously had a bit of a shocker last year with COVID kicking in, but the plan was that we'd started from the kind of 2020 year and bringing ourselves to the table and working with John and the guys to get the National Development League team back in Scotland was a big push for me, and investing in the kind of future of the sport is going to have to be the kind of push for a lot of us as we move forward, and it was really a no-brainer. I've been wanting to get involved for a while, and this was a perfect opportunity. Gives us an opportunity to work together and learn a lot about each other and see how the Devils get on and see how the kind of the league itself unfolds.
And how much have you enjoyed it, Colin? Obviously, I think it's technically 5 matches. This will be the 5th home match, but there's been 6 because sadly we lost Newcastle. So that match was taken out the record books. You know, just how much have you enjoyed getting involved? Obviously, we know that the development is the grassroots, but we see your background there. It's a picture of Gregor Miller. You know, that must be where the joy comes. You look at where they were at the start of the season, guys like Gregor and Lewis, compared to where they were last Friday, the points and performances they're putting together. Is that where the enjoyment comes from you, seeing these young Scottish guys or the young guys in the team move on, and hopefully eventually that will lead to team places and championship, premiership and beyond?
Aye, I mean, that was the ultimate objective. Watching the second half for the last kind of 3-4 years with Lewis and then Gregor coming along onto the 500s was kind of part of the fascination around trying to develop Speedway back in Scotland. And I can't remember what it was that hooked me on the kind of get back involved. There was I think a Scotland-England match that I watched back from, it must have been early 2000s. And at that time, you look at the
lockdown matches, was it?
And if you look at the team though that Scotland obviously fronted, it was really competitive. And you compare it to what Scotland could front now against England, it's no great. So that was a bit of a reality check. And again, just kind of looking at the opportunity, I think Armadale and Edinburgh particularly have a massive opportunity to kind of look at the investment in the youth and start to build. It's not a 2 to 3 year deal. This is kind of 5 to 10 years before you'll start to see the kind of the quality come through. And just back to Gregor and Lewis, both of them have taken a fantastic step forward with the opportunity that Devils has presented. I don't think it's so much the kind of more time on the bike, so we're getting a lot of time on the bike anyway. It is the competitive nature of it. It is the starting to compare grades of individuals and starting to compete across the country, and the variety and the experiences that will bring with it just starts to build on a kind of a good foundation that they started to build a couple of years back. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. But starting to see the other guys as well coming through, and I didn't see so well George Rodri on Friday night, but watched him smash Leon Flint. I think it was it May, when he was kind of really on his game. And it's boys like that the sport needs, and unfortunately there's not many of them. So trying to then bring them through the Devils in the National Development League is 100% something we should all be looking to try and support.
Yeah, and it is obviously a big step for Edinburgh Speedway as a whole to go down that road. And we're not just got that, we've got the training track and the academy, so we're getting that real path from I think there's been some 5-6 year olds in the academy all the way through to hopefully eventually in the Monarchs team. And again, you've been involved in that side as well, Colin?
Aye, I have. It's been a pleasure to be involved in that. I think that's breaking completely new ground, because obviously the introduction of kids through the kind of, my son's 5 years old, he was along at the kind of early parts, and it's just unfortunate with weather and time and things like he's not been able to go back since then, but the plan is to get him involved in it. And for the kids today, allowing them to have something that's like the kind of the small track at Armadale is massive advantage. They're not going to get any other opportunities. It's not like motocross where you can start to kind of follow some of the field tracks and follow some of the autograss tracks and different things like that. So having the facility there is absolutely fundamental. And then as you start to look at kind of providing the kind of the bandwidth and seeing what other kids want to come along, it starts to kind of raise eyebrows and start getting questions. And certainly I've been approached by loads of different parents asking what it is that we do and where can they come along, and a lot of them have already came along. So getting the numbers up, and the work that the guys do there is fantastic as well. They don't just turn up and allow you to ride around the track. They actually stand with you. They support the kids. Even when they fall off, there's a bit of tears and tantrums, and then a kind of a sit down and a chat through it with them. And it's absolutely fantastic what the guys are doing in that space.
Yeah, and I'm sure those tears or tantrums are just from David and Sean, not on the kids themselves, worrying about the end of the bikes that might have been given out in the deck. But it's great, you know, and we can see everything moving forward. And you're right, Colin. You know, we've all bemoaned probably since the mid '90s to late '90s when Lithgow disappeared. Just that ability. I mean, I remember speaking to Lewis a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying, you know, what he could have done, or what he felt he could have done if that training track had been there when he was 7, 8, 10, even 14, 15, you know, instead of him and his mum and dad or his granddad or whoever it was that was helping him out, needing to jump in a van down to Northside, down to Scunthorpe, down to Redcar. You know, we know how expensive Speedway is to get into from an equipment point of view. If you're having to throw in a day or 2 full days and petrol money and etc. to travel, it almost makes it inaccessible for all. So being able to show up on your doorstep, where, as you say, hopefully the kids that watch the Monarchs or the Devils on a Friday night can then start having a go on a Saturday afternoon, and who knows where it'll take them.
It just takes one or two, and the first kid that comes through from the kind of the academy track to then the Devils to then the Monarchs is going to be a massive success story. It's not going to happen, like I said, in the next couple of years, I wouldn't imagine. That'd be fantastic if it did. But I think it's got to be a reality that we need to continually just keep the opportunities available for the kids. And like you said, keep the cost as low as possible. Look at the opportunity to share either equipment or kind of parts or whatever else it takes to then give as many of the kids as an opportunity as possible. And you'll start to see the kind of fruits of this over the next couple of years. I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's, as you say, it's not a short-term project, but I think we have hit the ground running with a pretty decent first year, especially at the academy and with the Devils. And I'm sure there's been lessons learned as well, and things we'll look to do better next year. And any sort of thoughts on the next steps where we might see next coming through?
There's a couple of decent kids. I watched them on the Friday. It was. There's a kid, I can't remember his name now. It's really unfortunate. He's got the Speedway bike, the rookie bike though, and he gives it someone who around the track. I'd like to see him getting up onto a bigger bike, and the little lad, Caden, that gives it someone the big track after the meeting. Those kind of kids are going to make it in the sport. Just need the time, the determination, and then a little bit of experience, and they'll start to build from there. So definitely lots to come from the actual kids themselves, and the more we get involved, the better it'll get. I think when you look at then the Devils, the big thing for me has just been the incremental progress that they've made. And that's only going to get better. The more experience, the more opportunity they get, and the kind of the different meetings that they attend and ride in. There's going to be lots of ups and downs. It's going to be about getting behind the kids though, and making sure that they don't get disheartened by having a bad meeting. Everybody has a bad day, right? I have bad days all the time, but you can continue to build from there. And then we've got Senna here looking for his Speedway bike.
He can be one of the next one. We'll see him in the Monarchs race before too long, Colin.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you mentioned that incremental process here, Colin, and if we look ahead to Friday, I guess it's going to be a big test of that. Leicester
are obviously a well-seasoned a well-seasoned outfit as well, well-structured, good team, good equipment and good facilities as well. So they'll always be a kind of an interesting outfit to come to Edinburgh. I do look forward to the challenge though. The boys on Friday night, I think, were actually unlucky not to win by more. I think the 5-1 in Heat 1 was obviously a big push for us right from the off. And there was a lot of challenges with, like said, George kind of lost out in 3 races with breakdowns, and then a lot of the points that were lost in the last lap also kind of really went against us. So I think Leicester's going to be very, very exciting. And I look forward to seeing how the guys kind of bounce back. Getting two weeks in a row will be a big benefit as well. Having the track time kind of bouncing off the frequency will help a lot as well.
Yeah, that's the big difference of having a National League and getting twice in a row. As I talk about racing at 7:30 rather than 9:30 when we talk about the Devils, and as you say, a different challenge this week with the Leicester team, and they've got a couple of cracking riders in there, but certainly no reason why we can't look to go on and win and just get ourselves a wee bit higher up that table.
Aye, like to get off the bottom and get rid of the wooden spoon. I think Lewis wrote about that in the programme of the weekend. Getting rid of that wooden spoon would be a big benefit. But listen, the kind of lessons that have been learned, the challenges we've had to deal with, whether it's weather, whether it's riders replacements and kind of challenges, then I'd still be comfortable with the season. Next year's a new year, and we look at kind of up in the game again, and with the year under the belt for a lot of the guys who started on a kind of, I think it was the first season for 4 of the riders. So having started with that basis, you can't really complain.
Yeah, and obviously we've said how tough Leicester are being and how strong they're at the top, but the Devils back to a full 1-7 this week, and okay, it's maybe not a young up-and-coming Scotsman that joins the team, but it's another Scotsman as Willie Lawson steps in at number 1. So everyone wanted it to work out for the Monarchs with Willie. For whatever reasons, the changes were made, but it'll be good to see Willie back. And at that kind of level, you'd be expecting him to lead from the front.
Aye, you've no idea how pleased I am with that appointment. I think he gets a hard time, actually, unnecessarily. I think he's got a lot in him, and when he performs well. And there's a number of the Monarchs meetings this year that he's absolutely excelled, and then there's a number where he's had challenges, right? But to see him out at number 1 for the Devils as a Scotsman, with a view to what could happen next year, then it's a no-brainer. And I look forward to how Leicester deal with him. I'm not so sure they'll take many points off him.
Yeah, and he's obviously really keen. I mean, when he was, I don't think there's any other way, when he was dropped from the Monarchs team, he could easily then put his bikes away and went away, but he's obviously had the opportunity. He was there on Friday night. We were trying to film the Friday focus as he was blasting around, getting himself some practice again. So yeah, I'm same as you. I want to see the Scottish riders do well and be good for Willie to finish the season better than it was looking like. But
I don't know. He's got a lot. He's got a lot in the locker. He can ride a bike. I've spoken to a lot of guys about this as well. He can ride a bike, and I'm hoping that the other guys, so Gregor's going to be out with him from Heat 1. I'm hoping he can follow, learn, and kind of watch as he goes as well. I think it was the Caledonian Challenge last year, the only meeting we got. I think it was the end of the season.
Yeah.
And he absolutely romped it. I mean, there's some decent riders there too. So maybe he likes the wet weather. Maybe he likes the cold, dark nights.
Yeah, you mentioned it, and I think that's maybe where you're right. I don't particularly think Willie was doing a bad job this year. I just think it was maybe everyone remembers 10 years ago Willie Lawson, 15 years ago Willie Lawson, and maybe the expectations were wrong. But we all know what he's capable of, and as we now delve into Mike Hunter's blast from the past, we'll see that it's an old Willie Lawson special from back in the day. Enjoy.
9 then, Kaukonen again. Won his last one. William Lawson, Joe Haynes again, and Matthew Weathers. Matthew's the rider replacement here. He's away quite well on the outside, and he's got round Nieminen, but Nieminen bursts impressively back and goes to the front on the pit's turn. Weathers challenging fiercely on the outside. Well, has he made it? Has he got round him? I think he has. What a bold effort by Weathers. Nieminen comes back. Lawson's there as well. He's in an awkward position. He's held it well there though. What a move that was by Weathers, really brave. Nieminen prefers up the inside, and that can be profitable. That's where Lawson's likely to be looking for a space as well, and he could come through here. Well, wow, sensational pass by William Lawson, and the Monarchs are rampant here. Who would expect that they would both pass Kauko Nieminen in these conditions? That was a superb effort by the Monarchs. They've totally carved up the Finnish man there. An outstanding ride by Matthew Weathers and William Lawson. Part of the Monarchs' engine room, as they call them. They're not superstars yet, but that kind of riding, maybe they will be.
So 5 of those on Friday night will be more than welcome for Will Lawson, and hopefully lead the Devils on to another victory. And as we say, I guess now we've got two home matches, if we include the Leicester one. We've got one away match to come. The last time I looked at the table, which was on Monday night this week, we were sitting in 4th. So as you mentioned earlier on, Colin, it's about development rather than results, but it's still competitive fixtures. Let's get a couple of nice results, certainly in the 2 home fixtures, if not anything from the away fixture, and just make sure we finish worst case scenario 5th and can just avoid that wooden spoon. That would just give everyone a big boost going into the winter.
Big boost for the winter, and also give us a good opportunity to reset for the start of next year. We know the opposition now, we know what we're dealing with. We know, I would expect a couple of the riders to probably go up as well, out of the National Development League. Not sure how the rules work. I've still never understood Speedway rules, but we're hoping that we can start to then drive some new talent through and then see who else turns up. Not sure what the story is with Archie, actually. He was a massive prospect, obviously, for the Devils, and yeah, amazing if we could see him riding for the Devils, but I'm not sure. I think he's probably going to step up, but again, I'm not crystal clear around what's happening there.
Well, Archie's a good example of one of these guys that's been pushed into a championship team, and he's not been ready this year. You can't put it any other way, but I'm sure it's a fantastic experience for him, and he's learning from that. And I don't know how many Devils matches he's going to have in the end, because there's been many that he's missed for various reasons. But yeah, no, it's great to see him in a Devils race jacket on Friday, because he is a right hot prospect, and I think it was probably Newcastle that signed him. So if Newcastle, I'd much prefer to see Newcastle keep going than for Edinburgh to gain by getting one extra rider. But either way, Archie is a prospect, and with him, we'll probably need him to help bolster that bottom end of the team against Leicester on Friday.
Aye. I mean, Archie's probably one of the more solid people I've seen on a bike in a long, long time. And he certainly knows which direction he's heading every time he's on it. So, I would love to see him do more for the Devils. And if it's not Newcastle next year, you never know where he might land up then.
Yep, as you said, Gordon, big match on Friday. Hopefully all the boys are firing. Of course, we like to say it every week. You can get your tickets online now, armadaleDevils.co.uk, and then click on the tickets link. If you can't make it along but still want to watch and are out with 25 miles of Armadale, then the EMTV link, again on the Armadale Devils site, and you can pick up the live stream. Every match from Armadale this year has been and will be streamed, so no excuse not to get along. You can pay on the gate still as well. So either get your tickets, come along on Friday, or pick up the stream and watch the boys. And Colin, we know how supportive the Edinburgh as a club fans are of everyone. And I guess maybe from your point of view, we know some businesses that sponsor, if we're sponsored by a joiner, it's very easy when you need a wee bit of joinery work to pick up the phone and get them in. From your point of view, if the fans are looking to support the people that support the Armadale Devils, how can they get in touch with your businesses, and what can you do for them? And kind of, that's what we always like to see, right? See the fans supporting the people that support the club.
Aye, I mean, obviously, the IT business is a predominant push for me on a daily basis, and I talk to different people actually about it every now and then at the Speedway about what we can do to help. Unfortunately, we're not into fixing the kind of day-to-day computer side of things. We are into kind of major transformation programs and looking at kind of financial services, banking, and all kind of comp probably forget about. So there's probably not much. But what I would say is if anybody's got a budding career or wants to have a budding career in technology, then we're absolutely invested in the Scottish kind of footprint and looking to build the Scottish tech scene kind of from the inside out and really do it against the kind of grain. So if there's anybody out there that's looking for alternative career or thinks that they fancy themselves in IT or any kind of capacity, then just get in touch with me. You'll find me in the bar at Armadale most weeks.
Perfect. What more reason do people need to come and speak to then, Colin? That's it. Oh, sorry, I just need to nip and speak to Colin. That's why I'm going to the bar. No other reason. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say a young budding IT professional, maybe more a William Leicester in my case, but yeah.
Yeah, well, there's always room for them as well, yeah.
No, that's great, and it's fantastic that you're able to give that backing to the Devils. It's really crucial to the future of the team and part of the next few years of the Monarchs and the Devils altogether. Colin?
Aye, that's the plan. I've got mixed emotions about different sports, but Speedway is one of the sports that I truly believe has a future. It's had a hard time over the last 10, 20, even 30 years, and it's something that I think has turned a corner and starting to kind of push in the right direction. And what else would you be wanting to do on a Friday or Saturday night but watch Speedway? So it's something that I'm actually quite a passion about different options and opportunities that I think it could bring in the future. It's just going to be about how invested the management teams and everything else are around the more British-based Speedway structure. But certainly there's a lot of really good things happening. You can see them from afar, or you can get involved in them. And I can see it getting bigger and bigger. And one of my primary aims will be to put it back on the map in Scotland and support that as best we can. And there's many things we can do to help that.
Sounds good to me, Colin.
Sorry, I was going to say, I know he wasn't brought up on the Devils or the Scotland, but we're seeing current Monarch Drew Kemp winning the British under-19s last year. It'd be fantastic to see one of our young lads come through. And again, I think even Steen Piper came close in the British Youth Championships. But again, that'd be nice to see a Scottish rider in these titles. So
that would be. I mean, we've never sat down and wrote up goals, which is actually unlike me, because if anybody works with me, they know that everyone's goal focused. One of the goals would be actually to have exactly that. One of the key Scottish up and coming riders that's came through the Devils, the academy would be amazing, or in through the Monarchs, to get to a point where they could either win a kind of what's known as a major championship at either age group or kind of British level. Then that would be amazing. That would be absolutely top goal. And I think we should actually probably all collectively, I mean, it's one that I'm happy to take the pen on, write up some goals, set some strategic objectives, and then drive forward with them. That would be right up there, though.
Perfect. Sounds good to me. And I couldn't agree more, Colin. As we like to say every week, Friday night is Speedway night, and Speedway night's at Armadale. And that happens this Friday. The Armadale Devils, the Stellar Devils, up against the Leicester, the Lion Cubs. Is that their full title? I actually should have double checked that before we started here. National League action, 7:30 tapes up. Tickets available now through the Armadale Devils website. Or if you can't make it along, do pick up that stream. It'll be myself and Mike Hunter on the stream this week. So we'll guide you through everything that's happening there. Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you very much for your support of the Devils team and your support of Scottish Speedway, and for giving us your time here tonight. We hope, as we say, it's a long and fruitful relationship between all involved. And anytime you want to come on and have your say or give us your piece, just give us a shout. You're always welcome here on the Devils preview show. Until then, Dave, I guess Friday night we'll be back with a Friday Focus, looking back at all the action. But until then, it's thank you very much from me and goodbye.
Thanks, guys.